whole skate industry is better because Nora's in it. She's a really cool ambassador to represent the non-traditional skaters in our industry.
I think she's just a good role model. Like, it's pretty cool if you have like a woman like that to look up to.
People admired like how genuine she seemed, how fun she seemed.
She's almost like, she's bigger than skateboarding at this point. She's almost like this public figure.
She's inspired me in a lot of ways because of how she takes on things and she speaks her mind.
What Nora has that's so awesome is like her ability to just like not really care what other people think and like come up with these ideas in her head and just like go like headstrong at them.
She's a great creative, great artist, great performer, and then, oh yeah, one of the most important female skaters in history.
Whatever you think you're gonna get for lobsters, I'll beat the price. I'll throw in a kiss, and then we can dance the night away with some buttery lips after we've had 3.5 pounds of lobster. Chicken of the sea.
Wait. Grew up in Massachusetts. First, 20 years of my life.
Introducing our little Russian miracle. Little Nora Vasconcellos.
Can you tell the camera what you're doing?
Hi, how are you?
This is I feel like almost as random as it gets for like a town that a skater would come from. It's just cranberry bogs and, I don't know, the ocean and woods, like forests.
See that giant rock? We used to climb the shit out of that rock. King of the castle, king of the castle.
As a child growing up here, you have to use your imagination out of that. We don't got no expansive parks, but we got nature.
Hey, Pumpkin.
Oh yeah, I'm out of it, Ma. How'd you sleep last night?
Oh.
Yeah, do you like scootering?
What are you talking about?
Scootering. Do you like it?
Sure, if you're like 3.
Fine. Oh, fine, then we'll show you some moves.
We used to surf all up and down this beach. Like past those houses is like beach break zone, wave here, up there a little bit, but I think it's hard because you just get so much like weather. It's hard to have it all line up to be like a really nice surfable day.
I've been a lifelong athlete, and knowing the difference between discomfort and pain is a critical part, I think, of most athletes' experiences. And watching this kid take a beating on a surfboard in the middle of February, Atlantic Ocean, 40-degree water, getting her butt kicked. And I remember saying this to myself, you have got to love something in a way that's almost indescribable to put up with what this kid is putting up with. Well, this is me and you at the beach. That's crazy. I'm telling you.
The secret society of surfers.
Catching on with Pembroke kids. 12-year-old Nora Vasconcellos, a Pembroke resident, drags her white surfboard along a strip of brown sand. Dude, this is awful, Nora says, gesturing to the calm ocean front. There's no surf.
Oh my God.
Growing up, pretty rad situation where my parents, for like a majority of my life, were both self-employed at some capacity or doing like freelance. So, my mom worked at like a gym, so she was pretty much available a lot of the time. My dad's an illustrator, so his studio was literally attached to our kitchen.
This was one of the first freelance jobs I did. It was about traveling. It was at Brown University. 1988. So I basically just came up with this cartoon that was, you know, supported, the ad itself ran with text, obviously. It was the first of, you know, you start just getting momentum. It's like getting a, you know, getting a story published. All of a sudden you're like, okay, I guess this is a viable way of making some money. You know, back when things were busy, you'd be juggling, you know, 5 or 6 jobs at any time. You send out a sketch for one, you get the sketchbook out and start working on the next idea for the next project. But I'd stay up all night sometimes to get stuff done. And it took as long as it took. And that's when I used to like race, try to stay awake, race to a FedEx box and get the piece shipped that way. It was really quite an ideal circumstance for me. Because like I said, to be able to be home, and at the time make enough money that Joan, their mom, could be home with them. So that's a rarity.
Definitely so close to her family, like so like supportive of them, and like, yeah, they're all really close.
It's funny because her relationship with her family is always, it's never very far out of mind because she's always talking about them. Dad just came out to visit, we went to the beach. He's an athlete, so they're always off doing stuff and moving around, so it's not like they're ever having to drag him anywhere. And he's so full of energy, and he's so fun, and all of her friends love him, and so they're a unit that goes everywhere together, and they just have a great time.
Yeah, I've met her dad before. He's very positive, enthusiastic, handsome man. I think he's an educator. He did not seem like a weird, pushy skate dad. He just seemed delighted that his daughter's doing so well.
We were always doing things together and having a lot of fun. It wasn't like, oh, these are my best friends. It was way more of just a pretty solid like parent-child relationship where the parents just trying to, you know, bring enrichment and also get to share the experiences. Like when I learned to surf and snowboard, my mom learned to surf and snowboard, and she was like in her 40s, and she's like, you're doing that? I want to try that.
I think there was an intention to raise our kids differently, and we did. And I think, you know, in a lot of ways, it paid off.
You know, both my parents were really attuned to like my brother Davis and I, like what we were into, and it was like fully like doors open in whatever direction we were trying to pursue or be interested in.
This is some of my first framed work. 2001, so I was like 8. More surfing, skating.
The funny thing, when I look at all that stuff in particular, is like we didn't put, you know, even though I was working in the next room over from the kitchen, we didn't like push the drawing on her. You know what I mean? If you want to draw, we'll draw. I remember one day I peeked around the corner and she was finishing up a painting, and I'm under deadline doing my thing. And I looked over and I watched her. She finished the painting. I remember she took the smock off, put the brush down, and walked into the other room, and I thought, that's fantastic. The experience of making the art and being, I don't care what happens next, I'm out. I'm in the other room doing my thing, all worried about the client better like this tomorrow when they get it, etc.
It's funny though, because like I wasn't even skating really. Like during most of this time, this was just like something I liked. Like I was not skateboarding.
Yeah, but it occupied your thoughts as far as
I know, that's why it's so
skateboard.
crazy or like cool or whatever. It's just like consistently like cats and skateboarding. It's like, those are the interests.
The first time I saw skateboarding was on Nickelodeon's Rocket Power, and I'm literally like, there's my girl Reggie.
Skateboard! I put a skateboard on my list, and I got one. Victor must have read it. Whoa.
So like skateboarding for me was always a pretty solitary thing. It was definitely more of like, all right, get in the car, drive to the park. Like I was a vert kid, and it was pretty solitary for me, which was almost, it was really rad in a way, because it was like, it's crazy how much time I enjoyed skateboarding by myself and got to do things without any outside noise.
I mean, this kid used to go to skate competitions, and if she'd compete against guys and slam into people in a competition and get up before the guy did, give him his board and get out of the bowl. Before, you know, she would just do these things. And I just remember the perseverance it took to skateboard impressed the hell out of me.
Overall, just having that like really intrinsic drive to just want to skate and learn the tricks I wanted to learn and not necessarily be swayed by like trends or whatever was really helpful to me. I also think it was interesting because I didn't think anyone was gonna like care. This is a resume. My stance is regular. Contest results, surf results, skate results, Vulcan Wild in the Parks, under 14. First female to be invited to the national championships in Austin, Texas. I think my mom had me make this. I think it was like, if you want to do this, you have to get sponsored, but like, well, there's nobody knew what that meant, or at least like I wasn't around a community of people that were like, oh, you gotta like send out a sponsor me tape, or you gotta like, yeah. I think I got jobs with it. I don't think I was getting sponsored, but I did like get a job at like the grocery store and I babysat.
After graduating high school, she worked a kind of a crappy job, but she worked in a place that made her realize this was not where her dream was gonna be happening. And she said, I'm gonna move to California to be a skateboarder. And we said, okay, you just gotta know that there really aren't really too many women, if any, that really make a living as a skateboarder.
Moved out to California in 2012. And then in that first kind of few months, my parents separated under, you know, not ideal circumstances. And then my mom was like, I'm gonna move out with Nora in the fall. Pretty crazy to like live with your mom during a breakup. It's like not maybe ideal. And we literally like shared a bed, like we were broke, like just living in a bedroom in Orange County. Like really not fun and pretty traumatic.
You know, we all know people who've, unfortunately, conflict has become a part of a breakup of a family. And, you know, I have no judgment about that because life's complicated, but you have to prepare them for struggle. Struggle, I believe, is part of life. And to think otherwise is setting your kids up for a very painful experience as an adult.
Now it's great, like to be you have to be 10 years out of that time and be able to reflect on it and be like, we've done the work, we've done the therapy. It was like a catalyst for like how hard I was willing to work for like the lifestyle I wanted, which was very much, all right, let's see how skateboarding works.
Got it?
Yes.
All right.
Holy shit. Yeah, this is actually a graphic that I did the top art for. Kind of like redrew the Welcome logo. This is my first pro board. We had some people who were really pissed about this. They were upset about the hanging rabbit. I think it was like an animal cruelty thing. I'm like, it's all good. I really love the top graphic of this. It's like the chickadees, Massachusetts state bird.
We were going to the Combi, and we had seen her there, I think, first, and she skated like no other girl we'd ever seen skate at that time, like in terms of style and power.
He came up to me and he's like, hey, do you speak English? And I was like, yeah, why? He's like, oh, I'm sorry, like, I've never seen you before, you're gnarly, and I just thought you were possibly Brazilian or something.
She had, you know, kind of that personality of being kind of silly like Gons, but then skated like Chris Miller to a certain extent. And so, yeah, it was just really a unique mix. And she would eat shit the way Louis Barletta eats shit. Like super entertaining. And I loved how hard she'd go on things. And then that was also super like endearing as a skater, because once again, super graceful skater with style, but she would just take brutal slams to do things, and I loved it. I mean, I was at a point with Welcome, I still had my other job, and she needed a job.
He's like, I was actually gonna ask you, like, do you want a job? I have a skateboard company, Welcome. And so putting it together. And at the time, he's still in his garage. And yeah, me and D Vargs were the first employees.
It was a funny time. It was weird because she wasn't much older than my kids at the time as well. So it felt like I just had another kid in the house. It was really bizarre.
Moved into a warehouse, I think that after that Christmas. And that was the first warehouse. And then I was there for about 4.5 years. And in 2016 is when I got on Adidas. And it was, all right, I can not work. And he's like, go do it, like do the thing.
Nora Vasconcellos getting ready for her 3rd run here.
She already had like some notoriety and she was starting to win contests, which at that point was somewhat important, I think. You know, it's like pre-Olympics and kind of like bands, and you know, it was a time period that was kind of exciting for some of that stuff. Then from there, it's like, you know, she turned pro pretty shortly after, I would say. She got an agent, like things went really quick.
We asked Nora to go on King of the Road. Going with the Creature team, Nora Vasconcellos! And I feel like between then and when the show came out, it was like, okay, this was like a thing. She kind of ushered in the skater lifestyle video. There's no likes when she came up, there was no followers.
She's known for everything. And so that personality, you know, the way she comes across in front of the camera, her passions, her politics, her interests, her charm, as well as her ability on skateboarding has, you know, buoyed her to the top, and it's kept her there for a while.
Yeah, it's crazy because we came up in such a different time period of women's skateboarding, you know? Like, I feel like we've really seen, like, the transformation.
I mean, the increase of women in the sports themselves was huge. Like, even to this day, it's like, there's so many. And Nora was a huge part of that as well. You have to just give people like that grace. Like, this person is clearly changing the landscape of women in the industry, so.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Awesome.
Keep being an inspiration for these young ladies.
Oh, gotta do it. We gotta do it.
I've heard about you for years. Oh. The professional skateboarder. You're actually making a living doing this. It's incredible.
I know. Hey, believe me, I still don't believe it.
Well, good for you. Good
Thank
for you.
you.
And this
Thank
is how
you.
it all began.
People were ready to be excited about a woman skater in all the different things that she does, and her personality and her fashion and her art. It's like the timing of the media came along and she was there and perfect to do it, but it's all predicated on who she is as a skater, and then just like her doing what she likes to do and what she's interested in.
You know, when you have a multi-dimensional figure like that can skate well and has leadership qualities, then, you know, if you get the right brands behind you, it's kind of all upwards from there, as far as you want to take it.
I think at the end of the day, I'm just like, dude, if I'm gonna be a pro skateboarder and reap these benefits of people buying my product and watching my videos and like consuming my art and stuff, I would rather be really transparent about like what I believe. And I think especially like the injustices that we're dealing with as like women in this country, it's like, dude, I'm not gonna be quiet for sure.
Today we are going to go out to Vista and do some screen printing for an art show that we're having on Tuesday with Andy Davis. And I don't even know if I need any of this stuff, but this is like all the stuff I used for the art for the show. So I'm just like, I'm more or less bringing these paints because I think we're trying to do some stuff along those lines. It's a paint party. Just gotta bring all the options. We don't know what we're gonna get into. Just another day in North County. My buddy Andy Davis, who we just did an art show together in LA, and we're doing one locally here in Leucadia. It's crazy though, because I did a project on Andy in 2009 in like my studio art class. He's definitely very prolific, and especially like the surf art world. His work is really well known, and he's worked with like numerous brands and hit me up and was like, yo, let's do an art show or something. And I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Let's do it. So, very surreal. Such an honor to get to do it with Andy that I'm just stoked. Yeah, let's drop a level.
We're doing pretty good, Nora. We got a lot.
I know, I'm stoked.
Happening. More than I thought. I thought we'd
Really?
just do a couple and you guys would be on your way because I didn't know what your agenda was.
We're just dinking around, man.
I had been a huge fan of her skating, and my son and I used to watch clips of her all the time. We're like, wow, she's fucking so funny and gnarly and really fun to watch. And then kind of found out through other friends, like, oh, did you know she grew up surfing and was like really into art? And we're like, no, I didn't know that. And so just kind of like watched her journey. And then, so to get to do something with Nora is like really fun for me, just because it would be something I wouldn't think that she would want to do. So it's like, oh, no way, wow, this is really great. And here we are talking to you guys.
He doesn't know my history, man, that I'm about the Andy Davis. Somewhat happenstance to like come across the art, and then now we both live in Encinitas and definitely like nerd out, and it's been fun to like have a designated time and space to make art.
And, you know, and we see it a lot with different people connecting and doing projects together, and I think that can kind of show other people that might want to get into it, like you're not all by yourself and you're not alone in this. Like just connect with the right people and you can kind of figure it out as you go. And you know, it's not always gonna work, but just keep getting up and baby stepping through the hard times and enjoy the good ones. I love the confidence she has, you know? It's like...
She's not very good, but she's got the confidence.
Not at all, it's like really loose and fast and not overthought, and just she looks like she's just like really into enjoying the moment. Because I think she's got a pretty busy, hectic life, and this is sort of like maybe something that just makes her like not worry about anything. You know, can kind of take her away for a while, and to see like, you know, how she approaches it without a lot of worry and anxiety is cool. So I really, she's so young too, to see like what her career is gonna be like. Because I think it's not that her skating has plateaued by any means, but she's been doing it for so long. It's like, I think like, I'm really excited to see where like the next 10 years go. Like imagine Gons at like, you know, early 30s, and look at him now. It's like, did not stop. You were one of the lucky ones.
Thanks, man. That's very nice. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
How are you? What's up? Good to see you. How are you? How was Seaside? Was it crowded?
It wasn't
are
that
you?
crowded, but it wasn't that great. But it was
bummed.
I always watched Nora skate because I grew up skating, like probably just as much as surfing, and she just has a really cool style. I just take inspiration from my skating off of Nora, and also I feel like just too as like a up and coming like person that's in sports or just in anything life in general. To have like someone like Nora just makes you want to be yourself. Like hopefully if you follow the things you like, you can become something.
Trying to be able to go back to like when you felt the most vulnerable and be like, hey, what did you need during that time? Or who did you need during that time? Can you be that for somebody?
She deserves all of what she has because she really did inspire and continues to inspire so many people to this day, you know?
I think women's skateboarding has come so far, but I think it's just also a mirror to just the general way of life, you know, like how women are treated day to day outside of skateboarding and the disparity between, you know, equality and pay and basic human rights. I think that stuff is always going to be reflected in our cultures.
She's an outcast in an outcast sport. Like at the time, like even when Carabeth was coming up, whatever, 30 years ago, you know, it was like already outcasted sport, and then women inside something that's already outcasted, it's like makes you even more out, you know, like different. And it's really hard when the whole industry is surrounded by guys and guys are making all the decisions, and we're kind of like coming in there like it's not ours, like skateboarding is not ours or something. I think that's how it was for a long time.
But it's happened so fast. Like, I think looking back on 10, even 5 years ago to see the difference, you know, going and getting like magazines and seeing that, you know, we've had a couple covers this year that are not cis men, and it's pretty powerful. So I have like a lot of hope that things will continue to go upward, and just more people get to like be recognized and celebrated.
She's really special. One of the hardest working skaters, I think, and it probably doesn't always come off because she's so lighthearted about things, but she works her tail off for everything that she gets, and she deserves everything she has.
She inspires me to be a better dad and shows me the possibilities that my daughters could become. They can become all of these things.
What's most fortunate for me is how much I love being a dad and having two little creative beings that have made the experience far, I don't know, like more than I could have imagined. Just having two healthy kids, I felt like I won the lottery. But to have these two kids and have Nora, I mean, Nora's success has been incredible. And to see the community and to see people embrace her and to see her inspire little girls especially has been, or little kids in general, or old timers who haven't picked up a board in a few years, you know? So, anyway.
Thank you.
Oh, are you kidding?
That's great.
Hey, no, thank you.
Thank you.
For being you. And for letting me tag along with all this crazy stuff you do.
It's easy. It's easy. Just life is crazy. It's like I'm really grateful and stoked. And there's so many little times where I get to draw that like invisible string of, wow, look at where I was then and look at where I am now. And like 11-year-old Nora would be freaking out.